If you have any dignity, apologize to the
podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Apologize to the Podcast. Welcome to our 4th episode. This is going to be our first one on a James Bond movie. And I am Tyler. I go by Jalaman22. And with me is...
This is Shane. I go by Sonovsky_Otaku on Twitch.tv. Sorry I wasn't here last week. My dad almost died.
Oh, sorry. Did he go through an elevator and get attacked by Michael Caine?
No, he had a mild stroke and almost was in a car, and I'm unfortunately not joking.
Well, I'm glad.
I'm
glad he's recovered. Yeah. He's recovered, folks. If anyone was confused why Shane wasn't here, he had a personal matter. But your dad's doing better.
Yeah, he's a lot better.
That's good.
Well, I can laugh about it now.
Yeah,
he's laughing too about it now because
he's like, I had a stroke. So if anyone out there has suffered a stroke, you kind of know how this goes. Well, also with us is...
It's me, AJ, as in don't ignore me. That kind of AJ.
Mm-hmm. So today's movie, we're going to be watching Man with the Golden Gun, the 9th official James Bond movie, and the second one with Roger Moore. Now, Shane, you haven't seen any of the Roger Moore ones yet, have you?
I don't even know who Roger Moore even is, okay.
Oh, then you're in for a treat. I'm kind of lukewarm myself to Roger Moore. I've always been a Timothy Dalton apologist and a Sean Connery fan. I even apologize for George Lazenby, aka the one and done Bond, but I think he's a very underrated actor. So I'm kind of lukewarm with Roger Moore, so my opinions on this movie are going to be kind of interesting. Now, AJ, what about you? You've seen 2 Roger Moore movies before this, right? You've seen Live and Let Die and A View to a Kill. Are you looking forward to another Roger Moore movie, and how does it stack up with the other Bonds you've seen so far?
Yeah, so I've seen the first 8 Bond movies, Dr. No through Live and Let Die. And I've also seen the 3 ones with Daniel Craig. I've seen one Pierce Brosnan one. I've seen quite a few. I haven't seen all James Bond movies yet. I plan to get to that. And I'm excited for the new Spectre movie and such.
Yes, Spectre looks awesome. By the way, the trailer. Not to go into too much movie news, but the new trailer for Spectre is solid. I can't wait to see this movie. And Monica Bellucci is the new Bond girl. Oh, gorgeous. So, but back to you, AJ.
Yes. So my opinion on Roger Moore, I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen some of the more recent Bond movies, but I can say for sure that I like George Lazenby, and of course Sean Connery's iconic. You have to like him. So far, I would probably agree with you that Roger Moore is so far kind of the weaker Bond. But I'm still looking forward to this movie, especially because it has the late Christopher Lee.
Yes, it's Scaramanga. He's the bad guy. He's the dark side of Bond in this one, which is weird that we're both so nice to George Lazenby, because pretty much up until recently, the whole community of James Bond fans were just crapping on that guy's career. But I mean, he's a really solid actor for being a first-time actor. Yeah, he had an inflated ego probably, but I mean, we weren't there. I mean, we weren't there in 1969 when they were making the movie, so it's kind of hard to tell. But Roger Moore is very interesting. I was surprised you didn't say your favorite Bond actor was actually Jimmy Bond, Mr. Barry Nelson from the TV episode of Suspense with the Casino Royale TV episode.
Yeah, well, I did like Peter Lorre in the role of Le Chiffre in that one, but
that's an interesting episode.
You can't make James Bond an American though.
Yeah, especially an overweight American with no charisma. So
That's probably the most obscure we're gonna go in this episode.
yes, we're gonna be fairly mainstream in most of this. Well, I'm looking forward to rewatching this movie. I remember it. You know, Man with the Golden Gun's an interesting one because it is a rushed sequel and it has good elements about it, but I feel because it sticks too close to the James Bond formula, it kind of cripples itself. So I'll let you guys decide if you agree with this, and Shane, I'll see if you just enjoy the movie because you're not really used to the Bond formula.
Yeah, I mean, according to you, I've seen two of the movies. I don't remember one of the movies.
Yes.
And the only thing I remember from the other movie is, okay, the guy throws a hat and kills people with it. And there's some sort of bank robbery, and there's a girl named Pussy, I believe.
Her name's Pussy Galore. Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
So
that's all I remember.
I remember showing you Goldfinger and Living Daylights, but apparently Living Daylights was a big blur.
Yeah,
so.
from what he's telling me, it's about some sort of assassination. Some girl plays a cello, and I got offended from this movie. I don't know how I got offended from this movie. I mean,
he helps the Taliban.
Oh.
How do you forget that? Well, we'll cover that.
I mean, I know that I was not offended, but I was kind of uncomfortable when in Rambo 3 when he helps the Taliban, or when he helps the Mujahideen who become the Taliban in that movie.
Yeah.
And it's
it's dedicated to the lovely and lonely warriors of the Taliban.
Yeah. That was definitely could only be made at that time, and became more historically charged as time goes on.
Well, at least with, I mean, I know we're going off topic here, but at least with Living Daylights, it's an entertaining movie, while Rambo 3 is just a slugfest. It's just dull. Rambo 3 is my least favorite of the Rambo movies. But I guess to kind of wrap this up a little bit, so we'll go ahead and go watch Man with the Golden Gun. I'm very interested to see what you guys think about the movie, and I'll hopefully lighten up to it because this is not one of my favorites. But it's a really good one, and since with the recent passing of Christopher Lee, rest your soul, sir. It'll be interesting to see him as a Bond villain. It's great Bond villain as Christopher Lee, but the movie's so in my opinion. But maybe I'll be wrong. Who knows? We'll revisit it right now. So let's watch this movie. Say what you gotta say.
So I was just gonna say that I'm excited about Christopher Lee being a villain because I think he's one of those guys where you know, since he was Dracula and since he was all these different things, you know, all these famous roles, even, you know, throughout his entire career, he's one of those guys where if you didn't know he was a Bond villain, you probably would have sat around saying, "Oh man, I wish he would have been a Bond villain." But then someone educated like Tyler over here tells you, "Yeah, he is a Bond villain." You're like, "Oh my gosh!" So I'm really looking forward to it.
Someone
and
who
seeing
educated like Tyler. I've never heard those words before in my life in that sentence. Someone educated like Tyler.
Hey, you have a college degree. You're a smart guy.
Oh Lord. So, well, yeah. I mean, he really is a solid Bond villain. But we'll see in the movie. So.
Oh well, I mean, you think he's a solid Bond villain, but he might not be. I'll have to judge that for myself, Mister.
He might be like another. I don't know. I can't really think of a bad Bond villain. Usually the villains are solid. Oh, he's hopefully not going to be another Jonathan Pryce like in Tomorrow Never Dies. Oh, that movie. We'll get to that movie one day. So we're all ready. We're all ready for some James Bond action, martinis, and Thailand and kung fu fighting.
I was born ready.
Oh no, Sean!
Oh no, that's the wrong one.
No!
I'm sorry.
Yeah, good job.
Move back to the movie.
My name is Scaramanga. Francisco Scaramanga. I feel I know you, although I never thought we should ever really meet. It's a very great pleasure for me, Mr. Bond, and thanks to Miss Anders.
You've a strange way of showing your gratitude.
A mistress cannot serve two masters. A difficult shot, but most gratifying.
Well, we all get our jollies one way or another.
Mine have always been guns, Mr. Bond.
Da na 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 na. Da da na 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 da. Hello, welcome back. And that we just watched The Man with the Golden Gun, first James Bond movie that we're covering on the show, and one of the most conflicting of the Bond movies. So before I go into background information, just a quick sum up. Yeah or nay? Did we enjoy the movie?
I enjoyed it. It was batshit crazy. I love.
That's a fair way to put it.
And it was kind of. I know you guys don't agree with me, but I thought it was racist. Honestly,
You thought it was racist.
I mean, everyone
Okay.
knew kung fu in fucking China. I mean, hey. I mean, like, he got knocked out and they brought him to a fucking kung fu school so they, like, fight him using kung fu for some reason. And they just.
Well, they're in Hong Kong.
I know, but still.
They're in Thailand.
Whatever.
Well,
Okay, AJ, go.
so AJ, yeah, quickly before
Yeah, I
do
mean,
Bonds
I
and stuff.
think there were definitely some real flaws in it that were noticeable, but overall, I still liked it though. It wasn't. It was definitely a Roger Moore movie. That's for
Yes.
sure.
and that's going to be a problem we'll see as we're going on to more Roger Moore movies. I didn't mean for that to happen, but with the more movies, the more Roger Moore movies you watch, the more problems you start to see. Some of them get better from here, but I guess a quick plot summary. Start out with seeing Scalamander's Island. He's a assassin who was raised in the circus, and at age 15, he was a hired shot. He became a spy, and he became an spy agent. Became an assassin. He was underpaid, so he broke off and became a hired assassin to anyone who wanted to pay him $1 million because he is an expert assassin and he's that good.
And he wants to kill James Bond.
He wants to kill James Bond. He sent a golden bullet in the mail that says 007 on it, so he is Scalamander's next stop.
His woman did that.
Well, but that's the start of the plot. That's why he goes
spoilers,
on.
by the way.
Yeah, we're going. We should just call this the spoiler cast. We will spoil some things.
Well, we kind of have to spoil stuff to talk about it. So
Yeah. And most people will probably check out the movie before listening. So pretty much that's it. That's James Bond is.
That's the impetus for the plot. James Bond wants to figure out, wants to find Scaramanga and, I guess, get to him first before Scaramanga
gets to him.
Yeah, but get to Scaramanga before Scaramanga gets him.
Mm-hmm. So I guess going to some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. This was the second Roger Moore James Bond movie. And it actually, Live and Let Die was such a big success that they quickly rushed this into production. I feel like if you're watching the movie, you can really tell that this does feel a little cheaper around the corners, and it does feel like a rushed production. And it was also a big, troubled production. Of course, the cast, we have, Roger Moore.
Are you saying that it was Big Trouble in Little China?
Oh, well, in Little Thailand, maybe. But
But they were also in China.
They were also in China and Thailand. Phuket. So, I mean, I guess going into some of the cast stuff real fast, of course, you got Roger Moore. This was his second time playing Bond. It was almost his last because the movie did have, financial problems. It was actually, as I was looking into this, it's actually one of the lowest performing Bond movies, which is ironic when you compare it to the next movie, Spy Who Loved Me, which is one of the highest performing, meaning it made the most of the box office. So that's kind of ironic. Something didn't gel with this movie. But also we have Maud Adams as Scalamander's girlfriend. She's, special for being the only Bond girl to be... Well, she's the only actress to be a Bond girl twice.
she was hot.
She was hot. What a hot Swedish lady. We also have Britt Eklund as Miss Goodhead, which... Good night.
Oh,
Good
job.
Yeah, oh man.
Now we know where your mind has been.
Oh no. She
Get your mind in the game, man.
I'm
Come
getting
on.
my mind out of the gutter. So Miss Goodnight, Goodhead's in Moonraker, which we'll get to that one day. But she plays Miss Goodnight, which apparently in the books, I haven't really got to her yet because I've only read Casino Royale and Live and Let Die. But apparently she's James Bond's secretary, private secretary. And she's not a central character, but she's a supporting character in the books. So it's kind of weird that this is her one and only time that she's in the movies. And of course we got Christopher Lee, who recently passed away. He, cool little tidbits about him, other than being a legend in horror movies and just an actor in general, being a legendary actor. He was Ian Fleming's cousin. It's the guy who created James Bond. He's actually James
Oh,
Bond.
wow, really?
Yeah, he's actually his cousin. They actually played golf a lot. And that was in the making of. And apparently Tom Mankiewicz, who was one of the screenwriters for this movie, wanted Jack Palance to be Scalamander. But there was a casting conflict, or he just wasn't interested in the movie. Which I can't imagine that movie having Jack Palance with his deep, Jack, you're my number one guy. Mr. Bond, I'm going to kill you. I can't imagine that. But, Christopher Lee's popular for being, an iconic villain in lots of movies. Of course, he was Dracula 7 times for all the different Hammer movies, and a Just Franco one. You guys might remember him, of course, from more mainstream stuff like, Saruman in the Lord of the Rings movies.
And, of course, Count Dooku in Star Wars.
And, yes, Count Dooku in Episode 2 and 3 of Star Wars. Now, did he do any voice work for the Clone Wars cartoon show, or do you not remember hearing him as Dooku?
I didn't actually watch that show. I'm pretty sure he didn't. I have a feeling that Cartoon Network probably couldn't afford him.
Yeah, that makes sense. And of course, he's just an iconic actor. From stuff like The Wicker Man, some of his other horror roles. He's just a phenomenal actor. And then of course we have now. Oh God, I'm gonna have trouble pronouncing this guy's name. Okay, so the next actor, I might need your help with that one, AJ. The guy who played Knick-Knack, I'm going to butcher his name. Can anyone give me help with that?
I'm going to try. I'm going to butcher the hell out of it.
Okay.
Hervé Villechaize.
Is he actually French?
Yeah, he's a French painter turned actor.
Chaze.
Yeah, the guy who played Knick-Knack.
Hervé Villechaize.
Villechaize.
Hervé Villechaize.
Of course, he's popular also from TV's Fantasy Island with Ricardo Montalban. He's the one who goes, "The plane, boss! The plane! The plane!" So he was, of course, cool, and I guess inspiration for Mini-Me from the Austin Powers movies. And also with cast, we have, of course, we got Soon-Tek Oh as Hip. He's actually a Korean actor playing a Chinese, CIA guy or special service guy who helps James Bond throughout the movie, and so he was pretty cool. He's a veteran of a lot of TV shows, and of course, I guess the last person in the cast we have to talk about is Clifton James is Sergeant Pepper. I guess a little background.
No.
So
I love that guy.
I knew it! You porty heads has no more idea of traffic control than a goonie bird!
you love that racist sheriff from Louisiana.
And he hadn't even seen Living
I
Let
thought
Die.
his comedic relief was pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, well, he was more of a crucial part in Live and Let Die, the previous movie. AJ, do you feel like he was necessary to the plot, or did that just drive it to a halt? You were just like, what in the world?
Yeah, I was just confounded with his presence because there's so many reasons why he shouldn't be in Thailand. Because, public servants
Don't get paid much.
Yeah, they don't get paid much, and even if you're a police officer in Louisiana, especially, how are you gonna have the disposable income to just come to Thailand? And why? And knowing, kind of going off of his personality, what would even attract him to going to Thailand?
He seems to hate it over there. He keeps saying racist stuff towards all the locals.
Yeah, he says a lot of bad things, like pointy heads, talking about their, lack of traffic control. So it was just really awkward.
And wasn't he trying to buy a car?
Yeah, he's buying a car in Thailand.
Yeah, I was saying at the time, it's just what is he gonna do? Buy a car and have it shipped across the ocean, across the Pacific Ocean? Be in California and then drive it all the way back to Louisiana?
I got a theory.
Oh, let's hear your theory.
Was it confirmed that he was a tourist? He could have moved there.
Oh yeah, he was gonna be he wanted to join the
know.
police over there, right?
I guess.
Oh, he seemed like he was ready for law enforcement in Thailand.
Why else would he have a buy car there? I don't know.
Oh Lord.
I don't know.
So
that's my
no. He was reassigned.
He was reassigned. He was actually, he was deported to Thailand.
I don't know.
It could happen, but that was the interesting part of that. I guess going on. it's some more behind the scenes stuff. This movie was directed by Guy Hamilton, who's kind of a hit or miss director, but he's done some great Bond movies. Of course, this really, in my opinion, this wasn't one of his best, but he also started doing James Bond movies with Goldfinger, and then he did Diamonds Are Forever and Live and Let Die, and this was his last one for the series. And kind of a weird, I guess this might be one of the negative things, we can go ahead and go into it now, is, this is when James Bond movies started to start writing a trend instead of making a trend. So, kind of like Live and Let Die is all about blaxploitation. This movie is all about kung fu because, year prior we had... This movie came out in 1974, and the year prior, 1973, came out, was Bruce Lee's big break in, Enter the Dragon. So this movie has a vibe of seeming like it's just cashing in on kung fu movies. And then another weird thing that's awkward is... apparently, Guy Hamilton was telling Roger Moore to be closer to the books, so that's why he's more of a douchebag in the movie and being mean to women. But that could be kind of a side note we can go on to later.
I want to go over it now, though.
Oh well, we'll get to it.
We'll wait.
And I guess lastly, with the behind the scenes stuff, of course, there's the infamous car stunt, which we'll get into in a little bit. And also this was, based on the last official James Bond book written by Ian Fleming. He actually passed away before the book was finished, and they released it, after he had died. They did some rewrites and released it. So it was pretty much a first draft. So the book's not even that, big. And that was one thing I was going to bring up now is just, I haven't read the book yet, but based on what I've, read on the series, the comparisons are, Scalamander is kind of just a thug. The book's taking place in Jamaica, so he's just like a very generic thug. So the book is kind of just generic, and then the villain is really good with Christopher Lee. I like the I like the little enhancements they gave to his character. Oh, not the blemishes, not that third nipple. But unfortunately, it's like good villain, kind of so-so movies. It seems like this movie and the book were kind of doomed to kind of both be kind of mediocre. So I guess I'll go ahead and open up the floor to do you want to do the bad or the good first?
Let's just talk.
Yeah.
Let's just talk. Let's go ahead and knock out the bad stuff first. And this, I'm all for spies being hard-nosed and stuff, but Bond, let's just go ahead and do the Bond being a dick stuff real quick. Bond, like Sean Connery, like you can vouch for this, AJ. Sean Connery was kind of rough around the edges and kind of a sexist. But don't you think Roger Moore was kind of overcompensating a little too much?
Yeah, I guess probably the subtlety is that, like, Roger Moore in this movie seemed more mean-spirited in a way that... And, of course, I can see Sean Connery, like, just Sean Connery's general demeanor is kind of like that, but I guess he's kind of more... Somehow he comes off as more likable than Roger Moore.
It seemed
in
more
this movie.
awkward. Like, Roger Moore doesn't seem like he's comfortable being rude to people. He's more, like, jokey, like the clown Bond than the... Yeah, it seemed like it seemed really fake.
You slapped a girl twice for information.
Oh, you're hurting my arm.
I'll break it unless you tell me where those bullets go.
Oh, I can't.
Try.
They'll kill me.
Who?
Oh. I can't tell you. Oh. Scaramanga.
You see what you can do when you try?
Yeah, and was getting ready to break her arm. Yeah, when he first meets Scalamander's mistress, Miss Archer.
Archer.
Miss Archer. Oh no, not Mallory Archer. But no, yeah. He first thing he goes for is smacks the gun out of her hand, which is okay. But then it gets really like awkward when he
starts smacking her around.
Smacking her around, breaking her arm almost. He was very violent. And then some minor things like when he's during the boat chase. That little boy swims up. And he's like, you want to buy my elephant? And he's like, okay, I'll give you, 200,000 Bond or whatever.
Maybe.
And then he just like smacks the little kid into the water, and he's just like whole movie, he's doing little dickish things.
Like that one scene where that one girl, Miss Goodnight, came in. It started getting hot and heavy. then this other chick came in. He was like, "Oh shit, gotta hide." So he threw Miss Goodnight in the closet and left her there for 2 hours so he could bang this other chick. I'm just like, wow.
And the first thing he says is like, "It's okay, you'll get your turn." It's like, what?
Yeah,
I didn't get out.
What does that mean?
2? You mean I've been in here for 2 hours?
All in the line of duty.
Duty. I'm resigning in the morning.
Oh, good night. Come on, don't let us down. The service needs women like you.
Well, obviously you don't.
Forgive me, darling. Your turn will come, I promise. As soon as she brings me that Solex.
Miss Goodnight definitely had the female equivalent of blue balls that night.
Yeah, she did. In the whole
Blue
movie,
ovaries.
she's just like...
Yeah, blue ovaries.
Blue ovaries. The whole movie, she's just like, damn it, Bond, you're a bastard. And what's great, though, is the second she shows up in that movie, Bond just turns into an asshole. He's just like, he is so annoyed every time she shows up. You know? It's like their whole relationship is doomed from the get-go, you know? So, I mean, there's that. Was there any more on him being kind of a bastard? Because he does it a couple times.
I can't think of one. I was going to think of another one.
Like, he's just mean. I think, like, it was just really off-putting. And,
well, there was also the one time when he was kind of mocking Pepper, because he was, like, mocking his accent and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, boy!
You're not thinking that. I sure am, boy.
Just like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I guess bringing up...
like, I'm a British gentleman, and you're a Louisiana redneck. I'm mocking you. Ha ha ha.
Moha. You know, and that's the thing. This whole movie is like, there's parts of it that are really, really good, but then the rest of it's either from mediocre to just offensive bad. And I'm not sure if I'm speaking for all of you, but I mean, I feel like this movie is very, like, lopsided, you know, to good to bad, where it's like you have very little good and a lot of bad, you know.
I really like this movie, okay?
Well, you know,
I mean, that's...
You know, I think for me...
I mean, honestly, it started slow, slow setup, but
Yeah,
after it started getting batshit crazy, I was like, oh, I love this. Come on.
Oh,
Yeah,
Roger Moore might be the Bond for you then, Shane.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, a lot of the Bond movies... I mean, I've seen quite a few Bond movies. I think that, you know, a lot of them have convoluted plots. They have, you know, some kind of silly things in them. They have, and stuff like that. I think the only difference between this movie and those other movies is that there were some, like, legitimate things where it kind of steps in from, like, kind of fun, campy, fun, to just kind of groaning.
Yeah.
And kind of head shake, like, okay, this is, you know, because, I mean, I enjoy a lot of the campy, fun stuff, not just in James Bond, but just in general media. I mean, heck, I'm a fan of Sonic Adventure, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But, like, with this movie, with Pepper in it, like, he was very unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it just felt, I mean, it was such a gimmick, and it made no sense that he was there. And then, of course, the infamous car stunt.
Oh, dear God. Okay.
I thought that car stunt was humorous.
Well, it was
It
humorous.
looks so badass, but they had like weird sound
But that's
effects.
what pisses me off. Like, okay, I usually do my best to put constructive criticism together, but you know what? At that point, I was just like, okay, fuck you, movie. I really don't need this.
It's the first time you said "fuck you" on the podcast.
No, I've said fuck you a couple times, but I've never said it like a nerdy, like, entitled geek jerk. Like, I usually try to be constructive and think these things out, but it's like, that just pisses me off, and that's kind of what my problems with Moonraker is. You have these, you know, when we get to that movie, but right now this one is, it's like, it's almost like the problem with all Roger Moore's movies is they are so, it's like they're crippled without their comedy. They have to have their comedy. And it's like, you have legitimately awesome moments in this movie. You know, you have Christopher Lee acting his ass off, and then you get to these stunt scenes. And that car stunt scene is legitimately awesome. that was a record-breaking stunt, and then
certainly looked cool.
It looked cool, and it's a real effect. They did that in one take. When you watch the behind the scenes, it's amazing, and then when you watch the movie, you're like, oh, wait a minute, yeah, they put that bell whistle crap on it. It's like, it's like, what is this?
It's basically the equivalent of going from James Bond to Dora the Explorer in 2 seconds.
Yes! It literally went, like, it went from a legitimately awesome moment to the camera crew being like, oh, someone who was editing it was like, man, I hate my job. I don't like editing these Bond movies. Let's slap a sound effect on there because, Roger Moore's fun and kooky.
One thing, that is totally a joke that, like, a reviewer an internet reviewer would make. Mm-hmm. Like, the nostalgia critic would be reviewing that movie, and he would, and he would show a clip of that, and he'd be like, oh, that's awesome, and then he would, like, show another clip of the sound and add the sound effect in or something like that.
Yeah,
that's something that they would do. Not and of course I'm not a knock against the nostalgia critic, but like that's a joke an internet reviewer would do. They shouldn't have that in the official movie. Yeah,
not an official movie, especially when it started building up goodwill after kind of a slow build-up. But, the car stuff was bad, I mean, I know you enjoyed Pepper, Shane, but...
Pepper was awesome.
Pepper was awesome. His character has no purpose, and if you
reason to be there.
If you edit him out of that movie, it's fine.
He was good comic relief. I said this before, but I thought he was funny.
Well, the movie already has comedy relief.
Purpose if he's if he gives you something to laugh.
Yeah,
at,
but the movie already.
I mean, think about it. Do clowns have a purpose? Does that make you laugh? So.
Yeah, if you want to see James Bond as a clown, we should watch Moonraker next. I mean, Octopussy next.
Does he dress up as a clown?
Yes, he does dress up like a clown in Octopussy.
Okay.
No, but that's another train wreck waiting to happen. But no, it's like we already had enough comedy relief with Goodhead because she wasn't,
Good Night.
I mean, Good Night. I keep saying Goodhead. Oh my God.
We know what's on your brain.
We know what's on my brain anyway. But the problem is we already have that comedy relief with Miss Goodnight because it's not like she's strongly written. I mean, I wouldn't say she's a very.
The scene where she follows, Nick Nack and like tries to bug his car when she can clearly be seen, and then she gets knocked in. It's like,
Chris
why are you so
pushes
stupid?
her in the car.
I have to point out, like, this happened on a busy street. Why did no one call the police? They literally saw a woman get pushed in a fucking trunk, and the guy drove off, and no one called the cops.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown. No, but I mean, it's
Speaking of Miss Goodnight, I like to point out she's very incompetent. Like that part where, like 007 is like working on the laser or whatever, get that one.
Oh yeah,
out.
the Solex out of there.
Yeah, if she bumps up.
Oh yeah.
She bumps up to the turn on button, whatever it's called, with
the
her ass.
She just bumps into it
with her ass, and she can't figure out how to turn it off. She's like having like a blonde moment or some shit, and just.
She could have been a good character, but they just they wrote her.
They failed.
If that's how bad she is in the field, imagine all the paperwork she must be ruining.
Can you imagine the typos? She's sitting there coloring them in.
She's probably sleeping with somebody to keep her job.
Oh, but
that's terrible.
Well, that's another weird thing is.
Well, no, she's not sleeping with James Bond.
Yeah,
she's the throw her away. I'm going to sleep with the villains.
Yeah, she's like constantly jealous. Like, oh, I see you in the back seat with those two underage karate school girls. Oh, she's like the whole movie. It's like her and Bond's relationship is like a bad marriage gone, awry.
James, it's wonderful to see you. Where are you going?
I need some information. The subject under surveillance is occupying room 602. I'll buy you dinner tonight. Good night, but first I have a little official business to attend to.
Yes, I saw the official business.
Good night. Would I do that to you after 2 years?
Yes, you bloody well would.
Well, that's another thing I guess we could bring up. So, structurally, this movie is really awkward because, in my opinion, I feel like this movie, with having a character that's Bond's equal, with Scalamander, I feel like the greatest sin this movie has is it relies too much on the Bond formula, as in it has like the kooky plot, kind of like what was happening with Thunderball or Goldfinger, You Only Live Twice, where it started to get more into these big pulp ideas of like world domination. I feel like this is the villain, Scalamander, is a much smaller villain. This should be more of a mano kind of story, where it should be like really stripped back, almost kind of like, you know, Dr. Noah from Rush of Love, where it's very pulled back. It's not that big of a movie. Not as many stunts, not as many huge layers. Like, there's no reason Scalamander should have a huge layer with all this solar power stuff. So I feel like the biggest problem with this movie is it's just its heart was in the wrong place. It feels like this movie should be more dark and gritty and more just Bond versus Scalamander. It should not have all this extra stuff going on with like the karate school and the solar power and stuff.
I liked all the silly stuff there.
You work for peanuts. A hearty well done from Her Majesty the Queen and a pittance of a pension. Apart from that, we are the same. To us, Mr. Bond, we are the best.
Although, well, I guess I have a few comments on what you just said. Actually, now that you bring that up, I think that actually that could have been a very interesting take of having, because that's what I thought the movie was going at the beginning, because of it isn't until they they start talking about high fat and the solar panel and all this different stuff. Then it's like, oh, okay, well, at first it was there's an assassin's trying to kill me. I got to kill the assassin before he kills me. But then they add the other stuff, and then it becomes more traditional Bond stuff, and then it escalates all the way up to the point where Scaramanga has a solar paneled ray gun. It's like, oh, okay, now we're really in full. We're full cheesy Bond territory at that point.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think that considering what the man, I mean, it is called the Man with the Golden Gun. The point is supposed to, or the point at least appears based on the title, supposed to be a menacing man with a golden gun, and the plot revolves around him. And I think you're right. It probably would have been better if they just stuck to him being a good villain who was just a good assassin instead of having the solar panel and stuff like that. Because in some ways, it's like it's like he's trying to be a menacing rival and he's trying to be Blofeld at the same time.
Yeah.
And you can't have a Blofeld plot and a rival plot going on.
Yeah.
You know, they try to weave it in together, but you can't have both and do them very well.
And that's the thing, it does neither one really well. And it's like, the movie starts to lose you, and it's like, okay, it's wacky, silly stuff. But the thing is, Bond movies have already done this better. With, like, you know, even with Sean Connery sleepwalking through this world, you know, something like You Only Live Twice. Which I think would be a movie you'd really enjoy, Shane, because it's all about James Bond having to turn Japanese for no real good reason and having to be stuck in Japan.
That was awesome.
Yeah, there's a whole subplot where he has to, like, dye his skin.
He goes yellow face.
He goes yellow face, and he has to.
Racist.
He has to get. Yeah, it is pretty racist.
That is racist. We don't give you that.
He has to marry a Japanese bride who's a ninja, and it's pretty great. But this movie it's like the zany, crazy stuff has already been done better in other Bond movies, and I feel like what we're saying is it's like it can't be two different kind of Bond movies at the same time. I'm perfectly fine with having like a zany hench person. Knick-Knack's fine. Like if it would have been just mono Bond with Scalamander with maybe some comedy relief with Knick-Knack, because he is kind of like a comic character because he's always like, oh, Monsieur Bond, you know.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking though at the same time, really, having the mono kind of thing, that was basically Skyfall.
Yeah, well, it's also done in GoldenEye.
I haven't seen GoldenEye
Yeah,
yet. So.
I mean, it happens a lot in GoldenEye, and, and there's a couple different movies where it kind of does mono. I mean, Red Grant, Robert Shaw's character from Russian Love. Most of that movie is, Bond not knowing Red Grant's following him, and then they have the confrontation on the train, and there's a good 20 minutes where it's just him and Red Grant.
Right.
And the whole movie becomes just about them. So I mean, so Shane, I guess what it seemed like what you were enjoying was kind of the zaniness,
Indeed.
And I feel like for a movie that is cashing on the kung fu, and this might be just a nitpick, but I'll get your take on it, guys. Is for a movie that's kind of spending a lot of its runtime devoted to kung fu to cash in on the martial arts craze. I feel like the fighting choreography wasn't really that good.
The only good fight choreography I saw was like the two guys fighting with swords, which was pretty
Yeah,
badass.
Yeah, that was good.
That was actually.
Any other fight choreography, however, was not so good.
Yeah.
Actually, well, to be honest, I didn't really notice that it was like super bad. But then again, I guess the reason why I didn't think it was that bad was just because I wasn't thinking of it in terms of like comparing it to an actual kung fu movie.
It looks like to me they didn't practice at all before like doing the thing or whatever. It's like they just Goblin just did it. We can't we can't actually hit each other, but we gotta like pretend,
Yeah, smack him up.
That's what it looked like. They didn't practice it.
And I mean, that's kind of like, to sum up my bad, like what I think is bad about the movie is it feels like it's wishy-washy. It had a good premise, but then it's like they got cold feet. So we gotta do a Bond plot. We have to have a crazy explosion at the end. We gotta have, crazy ray guns and stuff. And then of course it's stealing from other Bond movies, not just in that, but it's like repeating stuff just from the previous movie. And this is a problem that happens with, Spy Love Me and Moonraker. It's like it's the new movie copying like what made the other one so successful, and it just seems cheap. Like, what was so important about Live and Let Die? It's like, oh, you added new comedic characters like Sergeant Pepper, and then you had a really big boat chase. What happens in this movie? We have another boat chase, and Sergeant Pepper's back. It's like
a lot more Bush. I mean,
there's a lot more Bush. They are getting kind of lazy with the Bond girl names in these movies, like the one,
Chumi or something.
yeah, the little Chinese lady swimming. Oh hi, I'm Chumi.
I'm naked.
I'm naked. So I mean, that's kind of my sum of the bads. I mean,
what were the other names like Chumi, Goodnight, and what was that?
Well, the mistress didn't really have. I think her name was like. Oh no! I wasn't even paying attention to what her name was. Oh no! Hold on. I'm going to look at my friend IMDb.
Isn't it on the box?
Andrea. So Andrea.
Oh, that's alright, I guess.
A Bond girl named Andrea. So good old Maud Adams. But I mean, most of this movie was fun. I guess kind of. Is there any more you guys want to add to the kind of bad?
Well, I mean, really, as I kind of said before, I don't think the whole movie is bad. I wouldn't say like the whole thing is just mediocre.
Why are you guys hating on this movie?
I just think that there were some elements in it compared to other James Bond movies that did make it a slightly weaker.
Yeah.
But I mean, there weren't too many complaints. I think I think in terms of like, and if we had to rank ourselves, Shane, you probably like it the most. I'm kind of more in the middle, and you find it the most. You more definitively find it mediocre.
I think
I don't hate it. Yeah.
I think both y'all are a bunch of haters.
Well, let's just put it this way. We've watched 8 prior Bond movies.
And I've watched 2, which I don't remember that well.
Yeah, so it's kind of like this one's fresh in your memory, and it's okay to enjoy this one. I do have stuff I enjoy
good.
about
I have
it.
your permission to
You have my permission to. I'll apologize to the movie.
Yes,
but,
master.
But I was gonna say, real quick, just
as long as your opinion is not too offensive to his sensibilities, he will let you keep your opinion.
Oh yeah. I'm the evil dictator here. But no, like the thing is, just to let you know, Shane, I'm not trying to hate on the movie. I legitimately like all the Bond movies in some capacity, with the exception of Moonraker. Moonraker has almost 0 things in it that I enjoy, which is kind of contrary to what a lot of people think. Because, that movie just stands out to me as the most blatant ripoff, of Star Wars, and I just don't like that movie at all. But other than that, I enjoy all the Bond movies. I mean, hell, one of my, guilty pleasures is the unofficial Bond movie, Never Say Never Again, where Sean Connery returned after, 15 years after being in Diamonds Are Forever. So, I mean, I enjoyed all the Bond movies, even Quantum of Solace and Die Another Day, and one of the ones that gets really hated on a lot is For Your Eyes Only. And that one's hated because, Roger Moore's more serious in the movie. I mean, for Christ's sakes, he kicks a dude in a car off a cliff in cold blood. And he's just like, bah! And, he knocks the guy off a cliff. So that one's really weird for Roger Moore. So it's not like I'm personally hating on this movie. It's just, it's so disappointing when you think of, oh my god, we finally have Christopher Lee the great Christopher Lee is a Bond villain, and then he gets stuck in this wishy-washy movie, and that's what's sad about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Christopher Lee himself. I thought Christopher Lee was good. Although actually,
he's the best part of the movie.
Yeah. Although I will say one nitpick about him. I kind of wish his voice was deeper, but I guess that happens with age. But I'm just kind of used to him when he's older and he has that really dark voice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's perfect for death metal.
The Christopher Lee death metal. Well, I guess they'll move on to the good. I guess y'all know me. My favorite part of the movie is obviously Christopher Lee. And the thing is, you were saying about his voice not being that dark. I mean, I enjoy how gleeful and happy he is throughout the whole movie. Like, towards the end of it, when he's, like, showing off his hilarity, he's just like, "Hello, Mr. Bond! This is my little cap gun."
Forgive me, Mr. Bond. A vulgar display, but I couldn't resist it. Because I am so delighted to see you again. A harmless toy. I am, as you can see now, completely unarmed. Cigarette. We have so much in common, Mr. Bond. We have so much to discuss, and we will never have this opportunity again. Ours is the loneliest profession, so let us spend a few pleasant hours together.
I had to go back a little bit, but there was one part that was, I wouldn't say it was a bad part, but more like a mistake on the part of the, people were shooting the show.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Where they're like fighting in like with the room full of mirrors or whatever. It shows people actually recording it all.
Yeah, you actually see the camera crew's reflection in one of the mirrors. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I guess to go on a sidetrack, what did you guys think of the whole subplot of having a belly dancer who had the bullet lodged in her belly button?
She had a butterface.
Yeah, she was a very weird, she had the perfect body, and then it shows a close-up. And
I know. I was like, damn, it's a nice body. Look at her face. She was like, oh, God, no.
She's just, making this, yeehaw face, ha ha. I'm sure you're a lovely actress, Miss Belly Dancer, but what happened?
Miss Belly Dancer.
Miss Belly Dancer. I mean, was everyone okay with that? I mean, it was kind of silly, where he's sitting there kissing her belly, and then he swallows the bullet. And
he's like the most incompetent.
I just want to know how he got that bullet back. We never got to figure it out.
Maybe barfed it up. I know he
either barfed it up, pumped the stomach, or pooped it out.
It was just too embarrassing to show us.
Oh, poor Bond.
It would have ruined the mystique of Bond.
I think as soon as he was signed Roger Moore, and the thing is, Roger Moore's not a bad actor. It's just, just something about him just doesn't gel with these movies. I love him in other movies perfectly fine. I love him as a parody of Bond. One movie I'll have to show you guys is Cannonball Run, where Roger Moore plays a guy who thinks he's Roger Moore. So throughout the whole movie, he's just like, "Hello, Mom. I am Roger Moore. Look, are you going on again about being Roger Moore?" "Yes," and he pulls out a Walter PVK and tries to shoot her, and a little stick comes out that says "bang," and it's great.
That sounds awesome.
So I guess moving on to the good. So yeah, Christopher Lee. I loved Knick Knack. He was so much fun.
He was entertaining.
Bonjour, Monsieur Bond. I am Knick Knack. Dom Pérignon 64.
I prefer the 62 myself. Still, beats a bag of peanuts.
Monsieur Scaramanga will welcome you personally.
Knick Knack, the Tabasco! And it's like...
Yeah, my favorite part in that whole show with him was like, when the very final part, where he jumps up down from the ceiling and was like, "I'll kill you!"
I kill you. I kill you.
For you.
They dodge him and they start chasing him around the room with a broken chair.
I would
trying to get it's like watching someone trying to get a wild animal out of their house.
Yeah, that was awful.
I was like, yes. They put him in a suitcase and took him outside and put him in that whatever the hell that was.
The wicker basket.
Yeah, and in the movie.
Yeah,
it's like, "I will kill you unless you get me out of here so I can resume trying to kill you."
He was so much fun, and when you're watching the making of on the DVD, it talks about how he was such a womanizer and how he was flirting with every woman on the set. And I'm just sitting here imagining little Knick Knack running around with a bottle of Tabasco going, hello, monsieur, madame, how are you doing?
Well, you never know. I mean, he could be very well endowed.
He might. Oh no.
Not that I want to find out, but there's a possibility.
Welcome to Fantasy Island in my pants. So, I guess going on to the good. I guess.
I'm sorry, Shane.
So Shane, you enjoyed the zaniness and the batshitness. Was it just because of you couldn't really tell what was going to happen next?
It just, I don't know. It's just crazy, which I like to see. Like, you know, from I don't know.
From the British perspective, yeah. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed most of the set pieces. You know, okay. So, would you say, you know, any favorite parts?
I already said it. Like when you like chasing.
He's chasing him around. Well, AJ, before I ask you what your favorite scene in the movie is, I guess going on to the good, what were you say positive things about the movie?
Yeah, so I mean, I did like a lot of the other parts of it. I already said Christopher Lee was great. You know, I liked some of the like the fight scenes when he would, you know, James Bond doing a little classic kung fu, doing you know, the mono e mono duel was pretty interesting. I liked how he kind of had some poetic justice at the very end when he James Bond replaces the wax dummy that was originally there.
I got a question about that. Where did he get the gun from? I mean, he lost his gun earlier and didn't have one.
I guess he just had in the statue, because Scalamander has his own, like, replica of Bond. He probably just used a real gun for it.
That guy's an idiot.
Man.
Yeah, but you were saying, AJ.
But, I mean, yeah, but basically, I mean, I liked that, that kind of poetic justice at the end. You know, I liked, I mean, a lot of the stuff, I mean, like, the car stunt was cool despite the sound effect. So it's both a good, it was good and it was bad at the same time. And of course, you know, a lot of the stuff I like in Bond is just the cheesy zaniness as well, kind of what Shane is talking about, like when they attach the
the wings
onto the car and they go off that way, like, and you know, even some of like some of Pepper's stuff. I mean, he was pretty comic relief. I'm just criticizing the idea that he was even in the movie at all. That's what bothers me. It's just that they didn't really give a good enough reason why he's in the movie at all. They could have just had. I mean, really, what I think they probably should have done is just like they could have had a comic relief sidekick, but just not have it be him. Just have it be some random Thai person
instead of pandering to the audience.
Because I mean, they even you showed us they had him in the
trailer,
advertised in the trailer, like, hey, look, it's Sergeant Pepper's back. Let's in his Lonely Hearts Club Band, like,
no, poor Beatles. I guess another thing is, I guess since I brought up the music thing, what did you think of? I personally like the score of the music. I just don't like the theme song. I mean, what did you think of the music?
I honestly, I really liked it actually. Yeah, me too. I mean, I thought mainly
it was catchy.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing. It was catchy, and I felt like it had a good melody. Because honestly, like,
the melody was great.
Yeah, for me, what makes a good song is I mean, there's many things that make a song good, but one thing that can easily make a song good for me is just if I can like whistle it well, and it like sounds. It's fun if it's fun to whistle. In that way, I'm easy to please. So, what did you not like about it?
I just didn't like the lyrics. I'm kind of biased. I used to enjoy the song, but then I heard originally. This is another kind of trivia note: is originally the song was supposed to be by Alice Cooper, and I actually found a recording. I'm sure it's from another CD, but I looked it up on YouTube, and it's just really catchy. And the thing that makes me mad is once you hear that song, it fits in perfectly to the opening credits. And it would have been a perfect song, and it's not as catchy, and it's actually kind of more hardcore, and it's kind of darker sounding. And the thing is, you know, it's kind of like that's what happened to the whole movie. I feel like if the song would have been there, and the movie would have been more based on just Scaramanga and Bond going mono-mono, it would have been great. But the song, it starts with a gunshot, which is segued from what goes from the opening cold open to the actual opening credits. It starts out with a gun noise, and then the song starts. While it's like an awkward silence, and then the song starts in the movie, like the one as is.
Oh yeah.
So it's just, if I had never heard or ever knew about the Alice Cooper version of Man with the Golden Gun, I probably wouldn't like it. It has completely different lyrics, and it sounds good. I might include that as you know what? I'll put that as the ending song on this episode, and you guys can kind of hear it. I mean, you'll probably like the Lulu one better, but it's just like, Alice Cooper or Lulu? Who's more memorable in the annals of rock and roll history?
I don't know. That Lulu really makes my Zuzu go boo boo. And
you got some explaining to do, Lulu. You got some Lucy. Anyway, so I guess before we wrap up, because I think we've kind of covered this pretty thoroughly. So you said your favorite scene, Shane, is chasing Knick Knack around on the boat.
Either that or when the underage Japanese girls start kicking ass.
That was pretty great.
That was pretty cool.
Their father has a karate school,
which is also racist.
Well, I wouldn't say it's racist. It's just, it's kind of like a stereotypical coincidence. It's like, oh, of course their father has owns a karate school.
It makes sense.
But of course it's. They have to do it for the convenience of the plot. And it was a funny joke, because it's like, stand back, girls. And it's like, oh no, you're going to kick everyone's butt. So
yeah. So, I guess that leads to you, AJ. Your favorite scene from the movie, if you can narrow it down.
That's a good question. I think... I think I liked the... just the scenes with Bond and Scaramanga interacting. I thought those were our best. Really, stuff with Christopher Lee being cool. That was pretty cool.
Well, I hate to play copycat, but I agree. I think any scene with Christopher Lee was great. And I'm going to kind of cheat because, since I have the same favorite scene as you, I'm going to go ahead and say my least favorite scene, kind of segue into the last part, is my least favorite scene, of course, is just the stuff with Pepper. I got my fill.
You hated Pepper?
I got my fill of it from Live and Let Die. So I didn't
you can never have enough Pepper. Come on.
Okay,
I don't know what's going on.
Let's just say there was too much pepper and not enough salt or mustard or whatever other condiment you like.
Oh no. Well, I guess that kind of ends it. Unless there's any final thoughts you guys would like to have on the movie.
I think in terms of the James Bond movies I've seen, I think this is probably a good mid to to slightly lower mid-range.
Yeah.
In terms of the James Bond movies I've seen, I think it has some noticeable flaws. Like, I don't think anyone. I think it's pretty hard for anyone to defend the car flip scene or the car flip sound effect. I don't know. It'd be really hard for someone to say, like, no, I just really liked it. Added so much.
Yeah. It's like, of all the movies that deserve, I hate to say this, but of all the movies that deserve the special edition, like George Lucas or Steven Spielberg effect of going back and fixing movies, go back and just take that sound effect out.
Yeah.
How hard could it be? Just play more of the music. It would have been great. It was like, he has a powerful and just like do
he has
something
a
like
golden gun. Not he's a powerful.
He has a powerful flipping car. Like. Shane, your final thoughts on the movie?
I had something I wanted to say, but I don't remember.
Well,
damn it.
I guess I'll do my final.
No.
Okay.
It was okay between the two Bond movies that I remember. I guess this is the better one.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say, really.
Okay, so this stood out. You probably just need to check more ones out. I'm glad you gave this one a chance, Shane, because I'm glad you ended up enjoying it. Maybe this will be a segue for you to see some, I guess, higher quality Bond movies. The next one in line is Spy Love Me, and we should definitely check out some more before we get closer to November with Spectre coming out. Closer to Christmas when Spectre comes out, which I'm gonna be their opening weekend, guys. It's gonna be great. I guess my final thoughts is it's it's an okay movie, but it's just disappointing when you think of what it could have been. You know, Christopher Lee's good, but it seems like there's like a lot of wasted potential. I definitely don't dislike this one, but it's one of those where it's like, oh, something wrong. Kind of like, you know, to compare it to one that's perfectly fine, but there's just a lot of little things that make it bad. Is like Thunderball. You know, Thunderball is just too long. It dragged in the middle, so it kept it from being a great Bond movie. And that's what I feel like with this one. It could have been great, but it's just kind of mediocre, and if it wasn't for Christopher Lee, it'd probably be one of the worst. But because he's in it, it kind of elevates it a little more to me. So,
we have favorite actor bias here on this show.
Yes, I am biased. It could have only been better if it would have been David Bowie or Franco Nero. Oh, man. Because, you know,
Wow.
I sit here, and this is kind of like a side tangent, but I sit here and I think to myself, you know, originally they wanted David Bowie to be a Bond villain, and they wanted him for A View to Kill, and I'm just sitting here thinking, man, I love Christopher Walken, but David Bowie is a crazy neo-Nazi. Like, I just, oh, man. Or Tim Curry. If only Tim Curry.
Yeah.
If Tim Curry would have been a Bond villain. But that's a topic for another time. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So, I'll go ahead and sign off. First, Shane, where can they find you if they want to contact you or anything?
I'm on Twitch.tv. I'm underneath the name Sonovsky_Otaku. It's spelled SONAZKI_OTAKU.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's, I guess, bye.
Okay. Oh no!
I'm
He
done.
has a powerful sign off.
I mean, it could have been better, but whatever.
No, you're good, man. And AJ, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm always on the YouTube channel. Don't ignore me.
Okay.
I encourage you to do so. I
And-
mean, not do so. Whatever.
Don't ignore it.
Don't ignore him. No, Dave.
Don't ignore me.
And of course, you can find me, Tyler, at JalMan22 is my YouTube channel.
It's a channel you're watching on right
It's
now.
a channel you're watching, unless you downloaded this from apologizetothepodcast.podomac.com. We also have a Facebook page, which is Apologize to the Podcast.
I didn't even know we had a website.
At
to be honest.
Facebook, yeah.
Oh.
You're in the know.
Oh.
So yeah, and we also have an email where you can go to apologize to the podcast at yahoo.com. So if you guys need any feedback, if you want to send an MP3 with any like feedback, like what you thought on the episode, if I sound like a complete idiot, let me know. If you just want to comment saying, "Oh hey, we like Man on the Golden."
Why should it be like we want more Sonovsky?
We want more Sonovsky. We miss Sonovsky. But anyway.
You should have heard all the fan outrage that you weren't there last time.
Oh.
But anyway,
I missed you guys
so
too.
there's plenty of ways to listen to this show and plenty of ways to interact with us if you guys want to. Well, anyway, we're gonna sign off here to Apologize to the Podcast and
Apologize to the podcast.
Apologize to the podcast.
he has a powerful
welcome to a commercial for Hello, This is the Doom Show. I'm Richard.
I'm Brad.
And on the podcast that is known as Hello, This is the Doom Show, we talk about giallo movies, slasher movies, horror movies.
We're going to interview Cary Grant live in the studio.
We're going to interview Lucio Fulci in the studio, folks. We're going to put Cary Grant in the studio with Lucio Fulci. It's the interview you never thought would happen.
I'm going to wear my Vincent Price slacks.
I'm going to wear my Citizen Kane wristwatch and monocle. And now Brad is going to recite the Pledge of Allegiance in Portuguese. Brad, go.
I don't know Portuguese.
Go! Go!
Stop hitting me!
You're a natural actor.
Yeah.
You can listen to us at Hello Doomed